Hello, YouTube and other people watching this. I'm back with another music review that you don't care about. Today we're going to talk about an album that is extremely recent. I would have reviewed it last week, but my copy didn't get here until today, the day I'm making this, actually. All day I've been listening to this, Where the Owls Know My Name by Rivers of Nile, or Nil, or however you say it. I'm not 100% sure. Nile, 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 I have no idea. Who are these guys, first of all? Rivers of Nihil is a death metal band from Reading, Pennsylvania, which is relatively close to where I'm from. So that's kind of cool. These are kind of the hometown heroes for me, one of them. And they are a very technical death metal band that mixes progressive elements with like a thick, bassy type of slow, trudgy death metal. Think Gojira mixed with Pink Floyd to an extent. That's kind of a bad comparison, but or rather, Fallujah mixed with Gojira. That's your best bet if you know who those two bands are. If you don't, I recommend looking into them because that's the best comparison I can make. Now, this is the band's third album. For a little personal history, I thought their first album was really good. Second album I thought was good, if not a bit boring as well. So I went into this looking forward to hearing it, but was kind of like, I'm not expecting much when I picked it up this morning out of my mailbox. So I listened to it, and my expression after I was done listening to it was something like this. Whatever that expression comes to, I meant excitement. It looks like I just died, but this is probably one of the best death metal albums I've heard in a long time. The progressive elements of this album have been kicked up to a very high level. The ambient soundscapes that the band creates are quite a bit more advanced than they were on previous albums and a bit more expansive. There's a lot of really long songs on this, past the 5-minute mark. I think the longest one is 8 minutes and something to that effect. And there's a lot of use of untraditional metal, let me phrase that, untraditional instruments you wouldn't find in metal. Two of the songs, possibly three, now that I'm thinking about it, make heavy use of a saxophone. I love saxophones. The only thing I can think of that has a saxophone in it that I listen to regularly is probably Five Iron Frenzy. But they're not death metal, so they don't count. So, yeah, the only other band I can think of that does really heavy music that has a saxophone is a couple songs by the Faceless on Autotheist, which, if you don't know who that is or that album, look that up too, because that's a pretty decent album. Yeah. Lyrically, maybe I'm just overthinking this. I feel like their lyrics are a bit over my head. I've been told that the concept of the album is fall, like the season. Like each of their albums, their first album was spring, second had summer, and this has fall as a concept. So if that's what the concept is, I can get it, because there's a lot of lyrics that, to me, allude to like a rebirth of some kind, like a death leading to a rebirth kind of thing. Now, I've only read over the lyrics once, so if you want to argue with me in the comments and say I have no idea what you're talking about, I'll probably agree with you, because I literally just got this out of my mailbox this morning. Like, well, the morning I'm reviewing this. The morning you're watching this, I probably didn't get it out of my mailbox unless someone sent me another copy. Or it's like Groundhog's Day and I'm Bill Murray all of a sudden, which would be kind of bad, I guess. I don't really want to repeat this day over, because I have to get up every morning and eat the same breakfast, and it just doesn't sound pleasant. But regardless, you should buy this album. Go out, find a copy, put money on the counter, and tell them you want it. Usually, the last couple of albums I reviewed, I didn't really talk too much about the album art. This is one I'm actually going to talk about, because the last couple albums I reviewed, I didn't think the album art was particularly interesting, if I'm being honest. This is, because of the lighting in here, it's kind of a hard album cover to see. The man on the cover is made up of what looks like leaves and feathers, so that's kind of cool. And in the background is a dead forest with like a thick ambient, I'm sorry, not ambient, like a ethereal kind of mist in the background. I think that's just a fantastic album cover. It's not very fall-like. It looks like everything's dead instead. So I don't know how that ties in, because their first album had like almost like a Lovecraftian forest on the cover. Their second had looked like a big sandcastle in the desert. And those fit the spring and summer mantra, but I don't know how this falls into the fall. So I not mantra, by the way, motif is what I meant. I can use the English, I promise. I majored in it in school. I know I did. So that's my personal feelings towards this album. Good, way, way better than good music. Decent album art, and the lyrics have a deep philosophical thing going for them that I can't quite interpret. As I said, if you want to argue with me in the comments about that, that's fine. I'm probably going to just tell you you're right, because I have no idea. I spent like maybe half an hour looking over the lyrics, and I couldn't quite make heads or tails of some of it, but, you know, that's just me. Maybe I'm just thick. It's entirely possible. This has been Adamsaurus with another music review. Next week, I'm planning on reviewing the new album by Under Oath, so stay tuned for that. Have yourselves a great day.